Welcome back to Magical Task Force. Tormentic here, and I apologize, I have not been able to produce a video in the past couple days. I've just been swamped at work, so this might be a long one. I'm going to go over all of the updates that were implemented earlier this week, along with a Brilliant Event Potter's Calamity 1 update, and then also my breakdown of the Community Day, because I've heard a lot of conflicting reports about the Community Day, and I personally thought it was awesome. So if you want the Potter's Calamity 1 and the Community Day update, just skip to about halfway through the video and you can pick up there. So we are officially in Wizards Unite 2.1.0, and a lot of changes actually took place here, some of them smaller than others, but the first one that I want to talk about is port keys. They fixed a bug with Androids that would stop people from drifting. Now, drifting is when your phone's just sitting there and your guy on the screen or your girl keeps going back and forth on the screen. That's considered drifting, and Androids have a really big problem with that, and so it was kicking a lot of people out of port keys, and so hopefully those port keys are working now. They increased the EX Potion's combat effectiveness, and I've actually personally seen this myself. It works way better inside of fortresses now. They added new portrait ID options, stickers, and frames that you can choose from. You can also change your name once, though. That's it, only once, but you can change it if you thought of something better after you started playing. Now, they do have new encounters. They have Professor Flitwick, they've added Blast-Ended Scroot, Exploding Snap House of Cards, Ominoculars, and Neville Longbottom. Really cool, and a lot of them seem to be, like, they're not rare. They're pretty common spawns, so it's awesome to see them adding new stuff already. My favorite thing, personally, though, is that you can see spell energy on the map now. It's such a small change, but it is such a big thing at the same time, just because it's so good to be able to know how much you need or how much you have instead of having to go to the vault every single time to check it out. Now, also, it will tell you if you're low on energy before you enter a fortress, which is really awesome as well, too, because a lot of times, like I said, you had to go to the vault in order to see how much energy you actually had, and now you can just see it on the map, and it will tell you, it will give you a warning. Hey, look, you have very low energy. Do you sure you want to actually do this fortress? They also added a Symbols of the Wizarding World to the challenge registry. I'm assuming those are going to be really high up in the fortresses, so I have not seen any of those, unfortunately. Talking about fortresses, though, they lowered the experience that you get from chambers 1 through 8, and they raised the experience that you get from chambers 11 up. Now, I know that's going to upset a lot of people, because a lot of people started doing fortress grinds where they would throw on a brain elixir and they would just go and grind level 1, and now with them reducing the amount of XP, it's not really viable to do that anymore, in my opinion. I don't have a lot of information about the specifics, the numbers and things like that, but I just know that it's the nerf itself that they gave for the fortresses seems to really hurt grinding on them. You can now also submit to try to enter the drawing to get a ticket to the first ever Wizards Unite Fan Fest that is taking place in Indianapolis, August 31st through September 1st. I don't think there's any way of actually being able to get any other tickets besides through the drawing at the moment, and I do believe that the tickets are going to be $30 or $40. Not a lot of information on that yet. Hopefully I will get a drawing. I really want to go to Indianapolis. I think it'd be a lot of fun to meet up with some of all you, and also dragons. Like, that's what that's going to be, kind of similar to how Pokemon Go has a special thing of why, oh, we want you to go to Chicago Fest, or we want you to go to Dortmund, or things like that. They offer specific things. This right here will be the first time dragons will be introduced, and the thing is that as soon as Indianapolis meetup is finished, those dragons will go to different parts of the world, and they will become the first regionals that we have in Harry Potter Wizards Unite. So if you get a chance to actually get a ticket, you definitely want to go. You can invite your friends. There is no requirement like in Pokemon Go. You have great, good, ultra, best friend, things like that. There is no level of friendship on this, so make sure all of your friends are your friends in the game, and then you can actually invite them to go with you. When you log into your game, you will see a little icon that says events. Click on that and it will give you the prompt on how to actually submit for the drawing. Now on to Harry Potter Calamity 1. This is the Brilliant Event that is currently going on right now. As of this video, you have roughly about 2 days to complete it. Now, I know there was a lot of difficulty with people trying to actually get the Weasley jumper from fortresses. Well, the spawn rate was ridiculously low. They actually went back in, I believe, yesterday or the day before and fixed that. So if you have any of those runes, you definitely want to go and use them now. They did give everybody 5 in the Community Day pack, so I hope you still have those. They even came out, like I said, Niantic even came out and said, hey, look, the spawn rate's a little low on that, we're sorry. And like I said, they fixed that, so you should be able to complete that right there. Everything else should be pretty easy in order for you to get, and you have roughly about a week before Potter Calamity 2 starts, so you definitely want to finish that when you can. Now, I will give you a little tip. We found out that the 7-kilometer port keys will actually give you new fragments for a new event, even though you get them from the old one. So, like, I had a couple left over from the first Brilliant event, and the key is that you cannot start actually unlocking them until after the event ends. So as soon as Potter's Calamity 1 ends, start unlocking those 7K port keys, and you can actually keep them and use those to get the new fragments from Potter's Calamity 2. Just a little tidbit. We'll probably most likely have to walk more portmanteaus in the second part, but you shouldn't have an issue really doing that as long as the heat pretty much stays calm. Now, talking about heat, yesterday with the first Community Day for Wizards Unite, it was a hot one for a lot of different places. Over here on the east coast of the USA, we had a really strong heat advisory going on, and as you can see, it said that less spawns would actually happen because of that. And I gotta tell you, I'm very, very interested to see what regular spawns on a Community Day would look like without the heat nerf, because I still saw a good amount of them. It was actually a really decent day. I saw on one of the Facebook posts, somebody was like, if it's super hot outside, instead of going to a park, just go to a mall. Well, I don't have a mall that's near me. So what I did was I got my 2-year-old and I got my 4-year-old. We got into the car and we just drove around and hit different parking lots. And that really seemed to be the key. I saw a ton of common and regular 9 3/4. I actually saw a couple rare ones. I actually found my first Sorting Hat, my first McGonagall. I had enough to actually finish Moaning Myrtle, enough to actually finish Peeves, which I didn't have any Peeves before this event. And overall, it seemed like it was a really decent, good event for me. I did use the brain elixirs. I was able to get about 2.5 different levels, so it was a really good amount of XP. But again, I really think that, especially with the heat, if that becomes an issue in August as well for these different areas, or even if it just becomes an issue at all in the future, I would highly recommend get into a car, drive to a parking lot, check it out, drive to another parking lot, check it out, because I found a ton of stuff, and I know a lot of people were at parks, they didn't find anything, or they went over to here and they didn't find anything, and a lot of that I think has to do with, like I said, the heat, them decreasing the number of spawns, and because of particular areas might actually not spawn a lot as it is. Also, I do want to bring up, though, with the Brilliant event going on right now, that also could have decreased some of the spawns, because even during the event, I saw a good number of the Brilliant event spawns. So I'm really interested to see what the next Community Day actually brings, especially if there isn't a Brilliant event going on, and also if we don't have the heat advisory that was hitting, like, it was hitting a couple different countries yesterday. It was kind of crazy. Random items for returning a foundable, but yesterday during the Community Day, I was getting an abnormally high number of items for returning foundables. I want to say I got at least 10 to 12 gold just for returning stuff. I got about 3 or 4 keys as well, and a ton of EX potions. So I don't know if that was a tweak that's overall in the game, or if that was just a specific Community Day thing. But I gotta say, I got a ton of items. It was awesome. I have extra silver keys now because of the Community Day event. Thanks for sticking around. I know, like I said, this was going to be a longer video, but I just had to get all of that information out there, especially since I hadn't been able to in the past couple days. Leave a comment down there and let me know what your favorite thing about Community Day was. My name is Tormentic. If you found this helpful, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel for more news, tips, and tricks. And as always, have a wonderful day.